Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Bree. Welcome back to another reading vlog. I don't have a lot of grand plans for this weekend. I just want to read. My mom's birthday, so we're gonna celebrate her. And then really I'm just gonna chill. So I wanted to start a reading vlog because I'm hoping to do a lot of reading this weekend. I'm really craving going to Half Price Books, so we're going to do that. And then we're gonna come back here and just kind of hang out. So that is the plan, but let me tell you about the books I'm reading. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I started on The Nature of Magic by Marianne Womack. So I was 50 pages in, and then I was just interested in learning more about the author, so I flipped to the back. Turns out this is part of a series, and this is not the first one. When you look it up on Goodreads, it looks like a standalone because there's no series connecting, but the more I dug, the more I realized that it is the second, and it makes a lot of sense because there's two women that are connected, and you like kind of get hints that they had a backstory, but you don't know what it was, so I was a little confused at that. Well, it turns out you find it out in The Golden Key. So I've been reading The Golden Key. It says 1 hour to go. I'm about 72% read. I'm not enjoying it very much. So it's a historical mystery fantasy-ish. So it's set in 1901 is this one, and this one is in 1902. And it's in London? Yeah, London. And it's following multiple perspectives, but there's this like detective who's I think supposed to be main protagonist of the series, and she's investigating these 3 girls that went missing a long time ago, and then they're getting this perspective of this guy who lives with his uncle, and they run into each other, and he's kind of suspicious of her, but also there's some weird things going on, and she's kind of suspicious of him, but you don't know why. The fantasy element is that it's like dealing with a lot of superstitions and people believing like maybe fairies or maybe something else has something to do with these disappearances. It's in the countryside, so a lot of people there are like superstitious, and so this woman is kind of skeptical, but then the guy, his family is like very much into like occultism and spiritualism and stuff, and so they kind of are like opposite sides, so you're kind of like, whoa, what is it really? So there's parts where I think the whole book's supposed to be vague because it's supposed to be like leading up to the big reveal, and the vagueness is supposed to help towards it. But instead it just comes off like half complete thoughts. So you'll get a sentence and they'll just cut off what they're saying like halfway through the sentence. So you aren't getting the meaning of what they're trying to say, at least like I'm not. So it just makes the whole story confusing, but not in a good way where I think it's going to pay off, but in a way where you feel like you're only getting half the story, but you're meant to be getting more, if that makes sense. So it's really interesting because this one, I don't know if they were like, this was like self-published and now it's traditionally published or something, but this one because I had read the first 50 pages. The writing is so different and so much better than this one. So I don't know if she got like a better editor or something, but yeah, I feel confused and not in a good way. Like I can go through most of a book and be confused and then have the payoff at the end where it all comes together, but I don't feel like I'm getting that from this. I'm a little disappointed. But I am going to finish because I do want to give this a try because I own it. And I did read the first 50 pages and was intrigued and really liked the writing. So yeah, but I don't know if I would recommend this one at all. Because like if I wasn't reading it so I could read this one, I would DNF. So that's this one. So I'm hoping to finish this today so I can be done. And then I'm also started The Appeal. And I am 140 pages in. It reads really quickly because they're all in like email format, and then there's some text messages and there's an occasional like flyer or something, and yeah, it's good so far. I wouldn't say I'm like loving it, but I think that as the story goes on I think I'm going to like it more. You're following this group that like does a theater program, and there's these owners of that, it's like a, what is it called, like a venue that puts on like events and stuff, but they also have put on shows and they do productions of shows. And so you're following emails between all these people in the production, and the main people who own it, their granddaughter is 2 and is diagnosed with like a very rare cancer in her brain. And so they can't get the treatment that the doctor says is experimental. They can't get it. And so they're trying to raise money, and they have to raise like $350,000 so that they can get the drug from the US to give to their grandchild that's supposed to be like really working. And so it's about them like having to raise money, but like right now you're kind of questioning like the doctor's motives, you're kind of questioning why these emails are relevant, and you're kind of questioning some of the people who are coordinating fundraisers. And then there's one girl who's just kind of like you see her like kind of going more and more into like an obsession with someone. And it's really interesting, and I think that someone is going to die at some point. You're also getting text messages from these two people going back and forth where they're reviewing the case and they're like, where are you at? And I'm right here, and what do you think? And so you're getting some of their thoughts on all the emails previous. And so I think that they're like preparing for like a legal case that happened after this. And so, yeah. And I mean, on the front, it literally says 1 murder, 15 suspects. Can you uncover the truth? So I'm thinking someone is dying. But so far, we haven't got to a death. So I find it interesting, but I think reading emails about just like putting on a play and stuff, like there is interesting bits, but some of it, I'm just finding it a little slow. But I feel like the payoff will be there when we start to find more revealing stuff, because I do feel like it's like going up in intensity now. So I would say I'm having a good time, and I think I could really like it by the end. So that's my update. We are now going to go to Half Price Books because I want to, and it's kind of a gloomy day, so I think we're going to go do that and then just sit and read, and it sounds like a perfect weekend. So let's go to the bookstore.
Significant light, just where it was needed, claimed in black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merchant change, but your face remains the same. The swallows will be here by dawn. When we're finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
We are back. Can you see Mr. Pippi? He's very cute right now. So I lucked out at the bookstore. Like, bag full of books. It was a great day to go. We found a couple books that I have on my shelves that I should have waited because they were all on sale, and they have this like section outside the store that is like usually $3, around that price, of just books that they've been trying to get rid of because they've been on the shelves for a while. So I found a lot of books that I was like, wow, I should have waited because I could have got a good price. But I found some books that I really have been wanting. So here we go. So I haven't looked for Agatha Christie books in a while, but I decided to look today because I was thinking about it and I was like, I haven't looked at that collection enough and I need to read through some, but I just was excited. So I found Murder in Mesopotamia, which I didn't have. I don't remember which one this is in the Perot series. I think it's further down. It's like right after the ABC murder, so like number 12-ish, I want to say. So I found that one, and that was a good deal. Then I got The Mystery of the Blue Train, which is a Perot one as well. And that one's like the 6th or 7th one, so I need more in the beginning because I wanted to read them kind of in chronological order, which is what's been stopping me from continuing. Then we got this dice cup that they were selling because it's padded on the inside, and we play a lot of 2-player games or more together, and that we've been playing ones with dice a lot, and the cups are like full plastic, so it makes this huge rattling noise. So we got this one because we saw it there for a good price and we would use it a lot, and Noah also plays D&D, so he can always use it. Then I found a Grady Hendrix book, We Sold Our Souls. This is, I think, where they sell their souls to the devil so that their rock band will be good. But I've loved Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and My Best Friend's Exorcism, so I saw this one and I wanted to pick it up because I want to read like all his backlist. I still have the new one, How to Sell a Haunted House, to read. but I don't have any more after that, so I picked this up. Oh, and I can tell someone's either stopped here and DNF'd it, or they just continued on and couldn't stop after that point. So interesting. So these two were the ones that I found in their super like sale section. It's The Serpent's Tale by Ariana Franklin and The Grave Goods by Ariana Franklin. I've read this one. This is the second book in the series. I can't remember what the series is called. Mistress in the Art of Death is the first one. And I read it in college and really liked it. And I read this one and enjoyed it. But I've never continued on because I just kept saying, like, I'll continue when I find it at half price. And I found them. I have this one in hardback and the first one in paperback. And since this one was $4 and this one was $3, I thought that I would just get this one because then I'll have them all in paperback and they'll all be the same. So I'm going to end up unhauling this one to replace. But I like the series. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite series, but it's one that I do find I have nostalgia for, and I like that it's medieval because it's a medieval like historical mystery. I read a lot of like Regency, Victorian times, Edwardian times, that like era, but I haven't read a ton of medieval or like later. So I like this series for that. And again, nostalgia because we read it in school. The last one I got is the only book that hasn't been like on my radar really. And I knew of it, but I'm just curious. So it's The Witch of Willow Hall by Hester Fox, and it's a historical set in 1821, and it's like after the witch trials, and there's some secret about this family at this Willow Hall. Some things start going down at the house, so I think it's gonna be a perfect like horror-y, spooky book. I don't know if it's horror. It was in the mystery section, but it just seems like it's gonna have that eerie feel to it. And it's got deckled edges, which I know not everyone loves, but I'm a fan of. So it seems like a really nice copy too. And I'm excited to give it a try. It seems spooky for this season. So these are this little book haul I got. Like I said, I really lucked out at the store today. Sometimes when you go to half price too much, I'll go and I'll be like, I can't find anything. They don't have anything because it's used books. So, you know, you see whatever's available. It's not like they have everything all the time. And sometimes you don't go for a while. I don't think I've been in like 2 months, and then you just win big, you know? So sometimes I have to tell myself, if you don't go as often, you will find more things when you do go. So yeah, that's my little haul. I think I'm gonna read, relax. It's really cold. I need to like cuddle up, get a warm drink, put on some warm socks, and just like relax. I'm gonna try to convince Noah to play a game with me. We'll see how that goes, but he's leaving at around 1 to go to a friend's, so then I will have all the reading time to myself. So that's the plan. I'll take you along with me as we go throughout the rest of this weekend. And like I said, I don't really have any plans, so can't really tell you what we're gonna do next. You're just gonna have to find out.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh,
247!
Really?
we go.
That's the closest game we've ever had.
1 point.
Wow.
This one specifically,
It all came down to the one.
that was the first one you got too.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Let up high, now we climb. fall beyond all. A bigger scale the world inhales as we go.
Okay. So I made it to around 200 pages, and I think I'm liking it more than I was at the beginning. It's definitely got more interesting. There's more threads that I can see coming together. I think one thing that's really interesting about this book too is that everything's told in emails, like I've said before, but I do feel like we really get to understand the different characters, some more than others, because some are kind of like background characters that we don't get like a ton of information from, but there's a couple main people that we get to know pretty well. So like Sarah Jane, for example, she like kind of spearheads the fundraising for this appeal that they need, and you really get to see her personality come through, and like through the different ways she communicates with people, you get to see more aspects of her personality. And I find that really interesting and like really well done, because you know, you get to see her like when she's trying to be a professional, and then when she's talking to like the guy whose granddaughter is ill, versus like when you see her texting her husband or talking to someone else. And so you just get to see like a ton of different sides of her. But it's also really interesting because you get to see how everyone flips things. So like in one instance, there'll be someone who suggests something to someone, and then they'll like in another email be like, oh, this person thinks it's a really good idea, or this person like gave me this idea, when it was like really their own idea, but they think if they say that someone else gave the idea, it'll like make that person do it, the thing with them. And I think that's really interesting. You see how everyone moves pieces to get what they want, and you would never see that unless you're literally reading all of the emails like this. You would never see all the moving parts, but it's interesting because I feel like we know more than some people, but then I want to know how it all comes to a murder, you know? So it just makes you wonder about people's motives when you get to see how they are with someone else, or you get to see a little insight into something that they're going through. And yeah, I just have lots of questions, and I feel like I get a little bit more each time answered. And so it's definitely a satisfying read. As soon as I'm like, okay, I need some things to start coming together, I start to see the threads coming together. So I feel like she's pacing this really well. So I'm enjoying, and I think I want to keep reading. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break, but then I want to get back to it because I set it down and I'm like, well, I want to know. I have too many questions, you know? And it's not a super thriller book. Like if you're picking this up to be just flipping pages, I have to know what happens next, it's definitely not that. It's a slower mystery that you're just piecing things together, but I think that the way it's laid out makes me just want to keep going. And for those of you who said you think I would like it, I think you're right. I don't think it's a favorite, but I am definitely enjoying my time, and I would definitely pick up more from Janice Hallett because I think her way of mystery telling might be for me. So it just feels really nice to spend the day reading, and it to be kind of gloomy but still nice. Like it looks light, but also there's like some clouds and it's been on and off sprinkling, and so it's just been great to, you know, relax with a book. I also need to wrap my mom's gift, so I need to do that at some point. I'll show you what I got her because it's book related. I'll show you. So my mom's really into like space and kind of like anything space and stuff like that. And she hasn't read a ton of sci-fi, but she has like a telescope and likes to look at all the planets and stuff. So I got her this little moon phases bookmark, which I think was really cute. But then I got her Project Hail Mary because I've heard really good things about this author and this book specifically. And so I think she's going to like it. And he's a sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission. And if he fails, humanity and Earth will perish. So it's a lone astronaut on an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. So I've heard such good reviews from sci-fi readers about this, and I wanted to get her something that was like spacey, but it's hard to know like with certain sci-fis like what people will like. So I thought because this one's like a well-loved one and Noah read it, and he reads more sci-fi than me, he read the back, and he's read something by Andy Weir before, I think The Martian. He thought my mom would like it as well. But then I got this one, which I got her a gift receipt because I'm like, I don't know if this is her thing at all. But I've heard like people who read romance have one read it and really enjoyed it, or like people read it as like a joke and then were like, actually I really really love it. So I thought I'd try it, and it's called Ice Planet Barbarians. So it's a romance with a blue like monster, blue alien, not monster, and a woman who was like kidnapped and then like abandoned on this planet, and now her and this alien are gonna have a romance. And I don't know, it seems like a fun series, so I thought I'd give it a try because she does like reading some romance and stuff, and her and my sister have read some like fantasy romance series, so I'm thinking, why not try alien romance, you know? So those are the ones I got her, and I'm excited. I think she will like it. She's been really getting back into reading since like about like a year since she's been at a new job. She's had more time and she's gotten way back into reading, and so wanted to get her some books that I think she will like.
Wasting this time that I borrowed, running too fast for the sun, and my eyes they still burn for tomorrow. Ooh, wanna come alive.
You want to do an unboxing with me, baby? Yeah, he's gonna help me with his with the unboxing. Hello, it's now Sunday, and I have been just at the computer for most of the morning, so I haven't done a ton of reading since I last checked in, and I didn't record anything at my mom's birthday dinner because it was just for family and we were having a good time, but it was really good. It was like this Italian restaurant that was kind of like in a neighborhood. It was a very interesting setting. The food was really good, and we all had a good time. So it was also my sister's boyfriend's birthday earlier in the week, so we were kind of celebrating both of them. And yeah, it was just a really good time. We didn't get home till like 10 o'clock, 10:30. So we were just really tired and went to bed. So I went to the post office this morning because I got a book off Pingo Books with some of the credits that I have from selling books. And I thought I'd open it. Pippi's here. He's helping. I think I need to get scissors. I got the next one in the, I think it's called Dangerous Damsel series. The first one's the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. And this one is The League of Gentlewomen Witches by India Holton. I'm very excited for this. I love getting stuff off Pingo Books. Like, people usually price things really good, and this barely seems red to me. It was, I think, $6, so that's great. I mean, you do have to pay for shipping, but still, great condition. Getting some nice used books. I have started this on audio, and I am enjoying it, but not quite as much as the first one. But I think that's hard with romance books, is like everyone has the couple that they like. So some books are just not going to be as good as others because like there's different types of couples. So I just feel like I connected more with the first one, the first couple, but they are in this one too. And I like the couple in here, and I like who it's like following after. So the third one I'm really excited for because I think it's just such a fun premise, and it's like a fake dating premise. So I think that's going to be fun. So yeah, that's this one. And I love these covers. Like they're just the best. Whoever is the artist on this, I wonder if they list it. Book designed by Laura Corliss. I really like her designs. So that's this. I'm gonna eat some lunch, and then I think I'm gonna just sit here with my Pippi and read a bit. I just finished editing my video for anticipated releases and stuff, so it should be live on now. And I don't know what else I'm gonna do for the rest of the day. It's been just a chill weekend, and I'm loving it. So, oh, also we saw these huge hot air balloons, because I guess there's a hot air balloon festival. So you should have seen it when we went to Starbucks in the B-roll I put up. there was so many of them, like 20 hot air balloons, and some were really close. So it was really cool. We just weren't expecting it. Walked out the door and just saw hot air balloons in the sky. Indiana just kind of has like random festivals. Like, who knew we had like the biggest hot air balloon festival? But we do. According to my parents. That's what my parents told me when I FaceTimed them to show them. Anyway, I don't know what we're going to be doing for the rest of the day, but it's just going to be hanging out, chilling, and reading. Hopefully you finish the book because I'm like about halfway. So.
Weightless, I am weightless. Underneath your wind I soar. Wasted, I feel wasted. With every breath I draw from you. I die a million times for you. I follow you with every step that you take. I will give you everything, my all. But for you, I'm a ghost, a shadow at most.
So I just finished The Appeal, and I think it was a really fun way to read a mystery. I really liked the format of it. At first I found it a little slow to get into, but then really once I was about 100 pages in, I think I was hooked and had to know what happened. I do feel like some of the reveals were obvious, but at the same time I just think it didn't really matter because I had a good time reading it and just trying to piece together all these things through these correspondence. I think it was a unique way to tell a mystery, but I don't think it was the most original mystery necessarily. And I do think the ending kind of was lackluster for me. The explanations for things made sense, but I just don't feel like it was my favorite ending I've ever read. I feel like there could have been a better twist, I guess. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think that if you want something that's mixed media, I would recommend it. I was intrigued the entire time, and I enjoyed the process of reading it, and I read it in only 2 days, I want to say. I am glad I read it because I haven't read a ton of mysteries lately, and so to add more that I can recommend and talk about is always great. I used to read a lot more mystery than I have lately, and so it was fun to get back into it. Now I think I am going to probably make dinner soon and just hang out. So I don't know when I'll check back in next, but that is one book down for the vlog. Hello. I wanted to come in and wrap the vlog up. It's been a little bit, and I wanted to update you and let you know my final thoughts on The Golden Key because I did finish that, and I never really vlogged my final thoughts. So my final thoughts remain the same as when I first talked to you. I didn't really enjoy it. It continued to be confusing throughout the entirety of the book. There was never a point where I felt like I understood what was going on. And I also did not like the ending. The ending was very vague and really left a lot of things open, but not vague in a way that allows for multiple interpretations, but vague in the way that it just felt like it just ended and I didn't understand why. It felt like the story was incomplete, and I think that's because the rest of the story was so confusing. It was disjointed and also vague, so having a vague ending along with the vague rest of the book just made it for a confusing ending instead of an ambiguous one, and so I didn't like it. Personally, I just thought it was not very good, and I will give On the Nature of Magic probably another 50 pages get to about the 100-page mark and see how I feel, because I do feel like the writing in this was completely different than the writing in The Golden Key from what I read. So yeah, I'm going to give this a try. I also had said that I wanted to let you know if you could read this one and just skip the first one, and I really think you could, while you're getting how these two women met and to become detectives in this one. The whole plot was so confusing that I don't really feel like I got a true backstory for them. And so I say skip it. I say you're probably going to have as much information about these two women and their dynamic that I have after reading the first one. So I wouldn't worry about it. And honestly, if it ruins anything, I think if anything, it would help me understand what the point of the first one was, because I truly don't know. So unfortunately, it was not a win for me. Well, I had one that was not so good. I did have one that I really enjoyed. So, you know, I'll take that as a win. So I just want to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.